everyone, it's Jill, your energetic ninja and your corporate witch doctor. We are here today to talk about attracting abundance with Feng Shui, using Feng Shui tools and techniques. I'm glad you're joining me as we get going here. When you have any questions, be sure to put them in the chat box. I'm just going to make sure that that is going and working, and we'll get started. We'll get started with taking a look at how to change the energy in your life so that you can attract more abundance. And that starts with changing the energy in your home. So I'm just going to see, let me know where you're from in the chat box and if you can hear me and if the feed is working. And yeah, we'll get started. I'm excited that you're here. So I'm just communicating with all of you in the chat box. So I'll be watching this. So as you have questions today, definitely let me know. And yeah, we will get started. So here's a little bit about me. I learned Feng Shui about 10 years ago. A little over 10 years ago, I started taking classes. So I had moved to Calgary, where I currently live, and I was pregnant. So I was sitting at home, getting over severe morning sickness and realizing that my type A corporate personality was a little bit needed something to do, needed something to learn. And somebody mentioned a Feng Shui class, and I'm like, oh man, that sounds totally interesting. So I started taking the classes, and I consumed all of the classes because I loved it. I loved the information. I loved the new ideas. I loved the concept of using energy to make changes in your life. It was exciting for me. Okay, so as I learned more, I took more and more classes, and I decided that I would complete it and get the consulting part of it. So you had to do reports and you had to do extra things to get that. And so I did it, and I started consulting right away. And I've done hundreds and hundreds of homes, and I consulted with a whole bunch of people. But what I've realized is if I teach you how to do it, it gets out there faster, right? And then what I discovered was I not only love energy, but I love strategy, right? I'm a former marketing strategist. I was a director of marketing for casinos, and I wanted to mix the two. I wanted to teach you how to use energy strategically in your life and business to move it forward. And then I know that we take action based on the things we want, and if our home supports it and creates a foundation, then we'll just be that much more successful in our life and in our business. So that's where the mix comes in for me. That's why they call me the energetic ninja, because I mix energy and strategy together. Once I completed the Feng Shui course, I actually went on to teach the course the next year at the college, or parts of the course, which was amazing. And then when online programs weren't quite as big, we had a version of the online program, and now it's coming back. So these webinars are leading up to a launch of a program called Foundational Feng Shui, which is all about Feng Shui for the mind, body, and spirit. So we're going to focus on the physical aspects of how to actually complete Feng Shui in your space, but we're also going to focus on the mentality around each of the 9 areas of your life. So today we're focusing on attracting abundance with Feng Shui. If you have questions, be sure to put them in the chat box as we go, and get a hold of me on Facebook or private message me as you need, as you have questions. I'm always available, and I always love to talk about energy. We should probably be about 30 to 40 minutes today, because we're just focusing on one area, and we'll have time for questions after or as we go, if there are some. Anyway, so let's get started. I'm going to do a screen share with you here, and we are going to get going. I have to find my file. Just hold on a second. Here it is. I'm excited that you're here. Feng Shui is something so fun to talk about, and the concept of energy and using it is amazing. Did you? Just give me a second. It's pulling it up. It's always a little bit slow when you want it to be fast. So let me know where you're from in the chat box, and your experience with Feng Shui. Have you used it before? Have you read all the books? And you know what happens with Feng Shui is there's a lot of different versions of it, so it gets a little bit confusing. So the type of Feng Shui that I use is based on BTB Feng Shui, because it's a more modern version of Feng Shui, so it's easier to incorporate. You know, some version of Feng Shui, like compass and stuff, you basically have to move because the stars don't align Whereas with BTB Feng Shui and the version of it that I teach, it combines a little bit of landform too, but it allows you to make changes in your space based on what you have there. And there's always a cure. There's always a way for us to cure what is happening in your space. So I like this version of Feng Shui. And as you do more reading and learning about Feng Shui, I realized that the simpler the technique, the better, the more effective to shift the energy, okay? So let's look at attracting abundance. So what is abundance to you? For me, it's the overflowing wealth of money, happiness, and health. So abundance to me is not just money, it's also an abundance of health, and an abundance of happiness, and an abundance of relationships. Oh, hi, Linda. Recent transplant to Airdrie. No experience with Feng Shui other than I've learned from my dear friend, Yvonne. Oh, my God. Yvonne and I were in class together. I adore her. She's amazing and an amazing Feng Shui practitioner. That is for sure. She's been a client of mine for many years and a dear friend. I love it. Okay. What does abundance mean to you? Okay, so what does abundance mean to you? Is abundance all monetary, or is it abundance of way you want to live your life? Is it an abundance of health? Is it abundance of relationships? We need to determine what abundance is. Of course, it's financial, and of course, it's monetary, but we want to dig a little deeper into determining why abundance is important to you and what that truly means. So reflect on that as we go through today, because abundance is so important in our lives, but it's an abundance of everything, because the more money we have, the more time we have, the more freedom we have, the deeper we can commit time to our relationships, the more experiences we can go on to expand and grow and, develop ourselves personally and professionally. So abundance and what it means to you is really important to define, okay? The first step is determining, what do you want? Okay, so you need to decide, what do you want with relation to abundance? Are you wanting more money? Are you wanting more savings? Are you wanting more money to go and do fun things? Are you wanting more money to invest in things like personal growth? What do you want? And so with that, in the moment you start understanding what you want, what you're doing is you're basically asking the universe. You are setting the belief out there, so you're opening up the possibility of attracting it into your life. So you need to decide, what do you want with regards to abundance? Okay, be sure to have a pen and paper going. I forgot to mention that, but you're going to need that as we go throughout this webinar today. So write down, what do you want with regards to abundance? What's important to you? Okay. By clearly stating your intention and outcome for abundance in your life, you will more likely attract it faster, okay? You need to know what you want. So you want a certain amount of money by a certain amount of time. You want a certain amount of money so that you can take your kids on an adventure. You want a certain amount of money so that you can feel freer, so that you can do this, this, and this, okay? Intention in Feng Shui is 70% of the cure. Okay, which means mindset and mental energy is 70% of how you receive what you want. 30% is shifting the things in our space to align the energy with what you want. So this intention portion is very important. I want you to spend some time on it, some time writing down what abundance means to you and writing down the intentions and the outcomes that you want. And when we write down an intention and outcome, we always want to do it from the standpoint of it happening, okay? So a certain amount of money will be in my bank account by this date so that I will this, and this, and have this experience, and this experience will come to me. You have to state it like it's happened, okay? There's power in the belief of putting it out there. So you're not in that wanting state of wanting something to come to you, because the wanting is what you're gonna continue to attract. In Feng Shui, we learn that energy attracts energy. So the energy that is in your space right now, and the things that are occurring in your life are a match. Okay, so if you want to shift something in your life, you have to shift the energy, which is why Feng Shui is such a brilliant tool to do that. Okay, but it's also what you're mentally putting out there. So if you're struggling with money, if you're feeling like you'll only be free when you have money, if money is this constant tension for you, the tension will continue because that's what you're putting out there. Okay? So you need to shift your mindset and your mental energy to also align with what you truly want. The universe is abundant. I receive all sorts of abundance on a daily basis. You want to focus on the abundance that you're receiving. You want to show gratitude for it every day. If we focus on the lack, we'll continue to get more lack. If we focus on what is already abundant, that will continue to come into our life, okay? That's why intentions and outcomes and deciding what you want is so important, okay? So now that you've decided what you want and you state your intentions and your outcomes, so this is important because when I first did Feng Shui, I remember writing down I wanted a certain amount of money in my bank account. I wanted a different vehicle, and I wanted us to move to a different house, and I wanted it all within a couple months. And you know what? It was impossible. Like, it seemed impossible, right? I'm like, there's no way all that's going to happen. And yet it did. And you know what happened is I didn't worry about the how. I just put it out there, and then I did all of my Feng Shui cures, and I believed, and I focused on the abundance that was already in my life. And you know what showed up? The housing market at that point boomed. We sold our townhouse for a lot more money than we had bought it for. All of a sudden, there's some money in the savings account. There was money to buy the vehicle, and I was moving to the house that was big enough for that child that I was pregnant with that was coming. We had that extra room we needed, right? But I didn't know how it was all going to line up. I just had a great belief it was going to happen, and the energy that I put out there and the energy I shifted in my space all aligned to what I truly wanted, okay? So be sure to take time on the intentions and the outcomes, and then we'll do the energy cures, and here they come, okay? So first we need to realize where the energy of abundance resides in our home. There are 3 main areas of your home where the abundance resides, and we'll get into more of that in a minute. The energy of abundance resides in your dining room, if you have one, okay? Some of us don't have one anymore. But if you have a dining room, there's an energy of abundance in there. And then the abundance area of the Bagua map. And the Bagua map is what all of Feng Shui is based on. And it gives a location to the 9 areas of your life in your home. So we're specifically going to focus on the area of abundance today, okay? So I'm going to tell you where that is. So a flow of abundance is created when the energy in all of these areas is flowing, okay? So the last webinar we did was all about decluttering. So that's key in this. It's setting the stage for the Feng Shui cures to really work. So if you haven't watched it, go back and watch that webinar on decluttering, okay? Because it's so truly important to set the stage. And then once you set the stage, we're going to start adding these cures in this area. But if you look in your dining room and there's stuff spread all over the table, that's not where a flow of an abundance can happen. If you look in one of the 3 main areas that we'll get to and everything's jam-packed, there's no room for energy to flow, okay? And then when we get to the abundance area of the Bagua, if it's cluttered, if it's dirty, if it's dusty, if there's no reverence given to that area, the energy isn't flowing. So if you're struggling with abundance in your life, I can bet you that some of these areas of your life and areas of your space are reflecting what's happening and aren't reflecting what you truly, truly want. So the 3 main areas in your home that we focus on with regards to abundance are the front entrance. This is how energy enters your home. The kitchen, specifically the stove, okay? The stove is a money area. And then your master bedroom, okay? We're going to dive into each one of these areas so that you know what the cures are. So get your pens and paper ready to go. The front entrance is considered to be the mouth of Qi. This is the way that all energy enters your home. So the first thing you want to do is wash your front door regularly. And you want to make sure that everything is in proper working order. The doorbell works. The door doesn't stick. The handle works fine. Because when something is broken, it's broken energy that's residing there. Okay? The mouth of Qi is how it all flows into your space. You want to attract energy into your space through the front entrance. So if you can barely open the door for all the shoes that are there, you need to do something about that because the energy can't flow in easily. If you open the door and it's not beautiful, the energy isn't going to flow in as easily. If you haven't swept the front step in like months, that energy is stuck, right? It doesn't allow for this free-flowing energy to come into your space. If your front hall closet is overflowing with things you don't love or use, the energy gets stuck before it even gets in the house, okay? So you need to declutter. You're going to go to your front entrance and you're going to declutter it all. As a bonus, if you have an entrance in from your garage or a back entrance, do the same thing. The energy doesn't enter your house in the same way from a back entrance or a garage entrance, but it still enters in. And the more you declutter and the more you get things working properly, the more you're putting out to the universe that you want to attract good, abundant energy into your life. Here are the specific Feng Shui cures that you're going to add in the front entrance. You're going to add the color red. So how to do this ideally is to paint the front door red. Now, if you have a green, pink, or blue house where a red front door doesn't look good, then here's the trick. You can actually paint the front door red and then paint whatever color you want the door to be over top of it. So I've had black doors before in certain houses, but the first color that goes on is red. Red is the color of power and strength. Red attracts energy. We are trying to attract as much energy as we possibly can into your home, okay? Red does that. If you don't want to paint the front door red, like if you're completely resistant to that idea, then you need to add a red mat to the entrance of your home, or big red pots, or something that is red so that you can attract the energy into your space. You want to add a water fountain. You want to add one inside the front door because water represents flowing money. And you also want to add one outside. So in the warmer spring and summer and fall months, because I live in Calgary and the winters are cold, I have a water fountain running outside my entrance. I want to attract the energy in, and I want to attract the energy of abundance into my space. So I can do that by adding a water fountain. The other thing that you want to do is add a mirror to the front entrance. And when you add a mirror to the front entrance, it's like, let me invite the energy in, and then let me redirect the energy out into my space. Okay? Don't have the mirror be directly across from the door, because you're inviting the energy in and then you're pushing it right back out the space, okay? So that's a tip and trick. Make sure it's not straight out the front door. You want to add lighting, okay? You're inviting energy into your space. So at night I turn on my outdoor lights because I want to invite energy in. I have those solar powered garden lights, and they light the way for the energy up into my home. Light attracts energy. The whole point of Feng Shui is to attract as much energy as you can to the front entrance so we can get all of the energy flowing, but specifically the energy of abundance. You want to add a flag for movement, because movement and color do the same thing. They attract energy, right? And we're trying to shift the energy in our life so that new things can enter. And then add a wind chime. Okay, and you don't have to get one of those annoying wind chimes. You can get one that's quite beautiful. I have one. It's not overly noisy, so the neighbors aren't upset with it. But the wind chime creates sound, which sound attracts energy. Okay, and we're trying to get as much energy flowing into our home so that we can get the energy flowing into our life. Okay, so if you have any questions as we go, be sure to ask me. But those are your Feng Shui cures for the front entrance. Okay, the next main area of our home that we're going to focus on is the kitchen, specifically the stove, because the stove directly represents abundance. You need to make sure it's very clean. So if I was at your house and opened the door to the stove right now, is it clean or are you embarrassed? Okay, needs to be clean. Self-cleaning ovens are the best. Most of us have them. Use it regularly. I for sure clean my stove at least once a month, but I do it more if I feel like the flow of abundance is starting to stall in our life. Okay, you have to make sure it's very clean. So I set the timer for 2 or 3 hours depending on the state of the stove, and then I wipe it down. I also make sure that where the burners are, it's always very clean and immaculate. The other thing you want to do is make sure that all of your burners are in working order and that you use all of them. I know we all have favorite burners that we like to use, but you want to make sure that you're using all of your burners. It's like spreading the wealth around. Okay. The other tip and trick that you do with your oven is you actually want to place a mirror behind your oven. It's like doubling your wealth. Okay, and this one is always really resistant. If I was in a class with you and I could see you, everybody looks traumatized at this point because they're like, a mirror behind the stove. You've got to be kidding me. I have tile there. Like, help me out here. So what you can do is you can actually put mirror on tile, or you can choose, if you're ever retiling, if you're building a home, you want to put something reflective behind there. So you want to put stainless steel or something that reflects back to you, or those beautiful glass tiles. The other cure that you can use if you don't want to put that stove behind, or that mirror behind your stove, behind your oven, is to put a shiny teapot on your on one of your burners, and you don't have to use it. It just needs to be there. It's like reflecting wealth back out towards you. It's doubling the feel of the wealth. Okay. If you have double ovens, obviously you can't do this, wall ovens. And then if you have your cooktop in an island, obviously the mirror thing doesn't work. So you have to go with the shiny tea kettle that you keep beautiful so that it may double your wealth. Okay. As you are putting all these cures in place, you're thinking about your intentions and what it is you truly want in your life. Okay. Third area is the master bedroom. You need to create a sanctuary to nourish your mind, body, and spirit. This we're going to cover in the next webinar. Okay. But where I want you to start with this is start decluttering. Because there's always a lot of stuff in the master bedroom that doesn't need to be there. Start with your closets, do the dressers. If you're an ensuite, get in there and declutter. Make sure there's nothing under your bed. That's how you're going to get the energy flowing right now. And then in the next webinar, we will cover how you create a sanctuary to nourish you, to support you, and to not only improve your relationship and the energy of love in your life, but also abundance. Okay, any questions as we go here? We're diving into the next area, which is the dining room, if you have one. So a lot of times the dining room only gets used when company comes over, which ends up being at Thanksgiving, Christmas, and maybe Easter. Okay, if you have a dining room, the ideal is to use it daily. It is this area that represents wealth in your life, and we don't use it. So if you can sit down for a meal in there daily, that is amazing, and that's what you want to do. But if you can't do that, at the very least, use it weekly. Make it a ritual that you have Sunday night dinner in the dining room. This represents abundance, and the more you can sit together and bring people together in that room, the more you are inviting the energy of abundance into your life. Okay. The other thing you want to do is add a big mirror to reflect the table. It's like doubling the wealth again. It's the same idea as the stove, right? Mirrors create that doubling effect of what it is you want into your life. And as you get into the Feng Shui program, if you choose to take it, you'll find that mirrors are a huge tool used in certain areas in our home to create the flow of energy. Okay. So get a big mirror, put it in the dining room to reflect the table, and double that abundance that you want coming to you. Okay. So we've focused on the dining room and what we need to do. We've taken a look at the master bedroom and how you're going to declutter it. You are going to clean your stove as soon as you get off of this webinar. Go hit self-clean. And if you're the one who has to scrub it, I'm sorry, but just make it happen. And with every movement of that scrubbing tool, invite the energy of abundance into your life. And then the front entrance, you're going to declutter it. You're going to add the color red. You're going to add water. You're going to add movement and sound, and you're going to make sure that it's beautiful, so that you're inviting energy into the mouth of Chi and into your home. The abundance area of your home based on the Bagua map is what we're going to look at next. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Bagua, I should have put a picture in, but it's octagonal in shape, and it shows us where octagonal. It shows us where the 9 areas of our life reside. And it's like putting a grid on your home based on the front door. So if you stood in your front door looking into your house, so just imagine yourself right there. If you focus on the back left corner of your space from the front door, that is the abundance area in your home. Okay? So it could be your living room, it could be a kitchen, it could be a master bedroom, it could be a mudroom that leads out to the garage, it could be a bathroom. So you're standing in the front door and you're focusing on the back left corner of your space. And think about the back end of your space being divided into thirds. Okay? The back left corner of your space is the area of abundance. So take stock of it right now. Is it cluttered? Is it beautiful? Is it a space that you use a lot? What does it look like? Because right now it's directly reflective of likely the type of abundance that you have in your life or the lack of abundance that you have in your life. So take a little idea. And then the abundance area, it's like it travels up and down. So if you have a second floor, it's the back left corner from the front door of the second door, like it's directly above that area. And if you have a basement, it's directly below that area. And in the basement, if that's your storage room, how cluttered is it? Because there's 2 areas of our home based on the Bagua that we don't want storage in, and that is the area of abundance and the area of assistance. So if it is your storage room, tackle it. Make it beautiful. Get rid of the things you don't love or use. It all comes back to decluttering, right? Setting the stage. Okay, so once you have the back left corner of your space identified, if you're struggling with this, sketch out a quick floor plan of your home and show me where the front door is, and I'll let you know where that back left corner is. If you have one of those crazy L-shaped homes and like there's nothing back there but yard, yeah, it's kind of in the yard, so there's some cures we need to do for that. So you need to let me know that that's what you're experiencing. So send me an email at jill@jillethier.com, post on Facebook and ask me, post in Life Makers if you join us there, or private message me and I can help you out with what that means and what that looks like. Okay, so the energy cures. The colors in this area are purple, red, and green. So yes, you need to add the color purple, which is the primary color, and then the secondary colors of red and green. Do you need to paint red, purple, and green stripes in your wall? Heck no. If you came into my house, you would not see these colors because you need the energy of those colors in that area, but you don't need to see them. Shelley's saying if your front door is in line with the outer wall, there's nothing to the left of it. Okay, so your front door, so then just that back corner from your front door, Shelley, is where your abundance area is. So just stand in your front door and it's just the back left corner of your space, okay? So it's just you know, in line with probably where you're standing, whatever is at that back in the left corner of your house. If we were looking at an aerial view and we were based on at the front door, where's the back left corner of your space? Hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have questions, but that's it. And if you're totally not sure, sketch it out for me and I will answer that question for you. I will add a diagram in next time, or maybe I'll quickly draw one out for you guys in the Q&A portion, okay? So you're gonna add these colors. When you think about adding color, I don't want like a little bow or something. It needs to be a big amount of color to vibrate with the energy because every color has an energy vibration. And that's what we're adding into this space. And the colors purple, red, and green vibrate with the energy of abundance. So when I think of the amount of color you need to add, I'm thinking like one of those poster boards that we used to use in school to, you know, display things. That size of the color is the amount of color you need to add into this space. And in fact, quick feng shui tip, poster board is the easiest and cheapest way to add color into your space because you know what I do with it? I put it behind any pieces of art that I have hung in the different areas of my home. So right now in my abundance area, I have mirrors there that have purple poster board behind. I have pictures there that have red and green poster board behind. So the colors are there, they don't have to be visible, but you want the energetics of the color in that particular area. Okay. I'm just taking a look. Okay, Shelly, it looks like that made sense. So yeah, let me know if it didn't and I will help you out with that, but it looks like you're good to go. The elements in this area are wood and water. So in Feng Shui, when we're looking at the things we're adding into a space, we're focused on certain colors and we're focused on certain elements. And the elements, all 5 elements, are wood, fire, earth, water, and metal. In this particular area of your home, in the area of abundance, you want to add wood and you want to add water. Fastest way to add water is what? The same thing as the front entrance, a water fountain. So yes, I have a water fountain outside, I have a water fountain inside the front entrance, and I have one in my abundance area. It's a smaller one because there's not that much big of a space between the two, but it represents flowing money. And if I want the energy of abundance in my life, I want water flowing. The other thing that represents water energy really well is mirrors. Okay, or crystal items, so crystal vases or crystal bowls. Okay, so that's another way to add the element of water into that area. And then wood frame pictures, wood end tables if it's a living room. You want to add something in. Now let's say that you intuitively already have the color red in that area, you already have a lot of wood and you have water. I want you to add something new to that space. Okay, and it doesn't have to be new to you, but new from a different area of the home even. But I want you to add new energy into that area. So I want you to add some more red. I want you to add something different that's wood. I want you to add something new to that area with the intention of whatever the outcome is that you want that you've already set. Okay. You want to add new energy in. So I am constantly using Feng Shui in my life when I'm watching what's happening. So if the abundance isn't flowing, I go and work in the abundance area of my home because I know that it's 70% intention and mindset. But I also know that that 30%, that physical movement, shows the universe what it is I want because I'm willing to put action behind what I'm thinking. Okay, so I'll add something new there. I'll shift things around if the energy needs to be shifted. And I do this in the other areas too. I use it in relationships all the time. I use it in creativity. I use it in purpose, a pile, right, as I'm growing my business. So if things stall out, I am using Feng Shui all the time. So I don't just Feng Shui my house once and leave it. I am watching what the universe is unfolding for me. And if it's not exactly what I want it to be, I am moving things around my space so that the energy is always lining up with where I'm headed. Okay, so that's why I wanted to teach Feng Shui to you, is so you can use it on a regular basis. Okay. You want to make sure you reduce the amount of metal in this area. Because just as a brief explanation, there's a building and reducing cycle that comes with the elements. That's why you'll see the main element is wood, but water is the building element, right? Because water feeds wood. The reducing element for wood is metal, because metal chops wood, okay? And so you just want to be conscious of how much metal is in the space. Let's say that it's your laundry room. How do you get rid of the metal, washer and dryer? You can't. So if you have something like that in your abundance area, I want you to add the element of fire. So even put some candles in one of the cupboards, okay? Because fire melts metal. This is where Feng Shui starts to get a little tricky. It's easy, but you just need to know all of the rules and how it all works. Okay, so if you can't take the metal out of the space, I want you to add fire energy in, which is anything related to animals. Candles are a really easy way, or lighting. Okay, because that helps reduce the amount of metal without having to physically remove it from the space. You guys are getting a pile of information. If there's any questions, you be sure to ask me about it. And the final thing you want to add is something that represents abundance to you in this area. So for me, I like to use gemstones and crystals and stones just because I like their energetic vibration. So I have an amethyst and a citrine in that area because that represents abundance to me. You could put a picture of the lake house that you want to buy. You could put a picture of the RV that you want to buy. You could put all of the family photos and all the photos of friends and the fun things that you do in that area because it represents abundance to you. Okay, so right now in my area, I have a amethyst crystal. I have the word abundance in one of those, you can get them at Home Sense or any decor place. I have a picture of my children. I've got a mirror, I've got a water fountain, and I've got a box with some actual money in it to represent the wealth. And I always renew and refresh that money, because to me it's like adding into what I want to create. Okay, so add something in this area that represents abundance to you. That's really important. Okay, so we have all of the cures now. We have all the energy cures that we need to shift the energetics of abundance in our life, and specifically in the energy of abundance in your home. What you will do first is work on the main floor of your home. And then you can choose to add cures on the upper floor and in the basement as well, right? The more that you align the energetics of this whole area, the more you're telling the universe that you want abundance to come into your life. So what's the process? Because there's always a way to do it. Here's how you shift the energy. You need to set an intention before moving anything in your space. So be clear about what you want, right? I was very clear about the amount of money. I was very clear I wanted a vehicle, and I was very clear I wanted a house. Now, as I'm attracting abundance into my life, I'm very clear specifically about what I'm looking for. A lot of it is monetary, but sometimes I want to attract more close friends. Okay, so I'll put that in there as well. You want to declutter and clean the space. You are setting the foundation. You can add the cures in without doing the decluttering, but it won't have the same effect. You can add them in without doing the cleaning. They won't have the same effect. You've got to set the stage for the cures to really work. So declutter the front entrance. Declutter the abundance areas in your home. Okay? Clean the stove. Right? And if you have one of those drawers under the stove and it's chock full of stuff, take it out of there if you don't love it or use it. And then as you collect the intention, as the energy cures, and as you're placing them in the space, so as you're adding the water fountain, as you're adding the colors, as you're adding the flag outside of the wind chime, you think about the intentions in which you want to attract into your life like they're happening. I want you to feel like you are experiencing them in that moment. Put yourself in the energy of that. Don't put it in the wanting, because then you're going to attract more wanting. Put it in the it has already happened in my life spot, and think about it as you're placing things. So you are not only putting out into the universe what you want, you are taking action based on it. Okay? In your space, so you can shift the energy so it aligns with increasing your personal power. So actually you take other actions to also attract the abundance into your life. And then you say a blessing once the cures are in place. So there's a Feng Shui blessing that I learned. It's Om Mani Padme Hum. And you flick your two fingers while you do it. And I like using that blessing because it's thousands of years old, and I feel like there's a container of wisdom and purpose and energetics that goes with it. So that's the blessing I use. But you can say a prayer, you can show gratitude, just be thankful for the abundance that is coming into your life and that is already in your life. So once you set the cures in place, you do a blessing. Okay, I'm going to give you a moment to write all of that down. So set the intention, declutter, think about the intention as you add the cures, and then say a blessing once the cures are in place. Okay. Your physical, mental, and spiritual energy must be aligned to attract abundance into your life. So here's the interesting part is the mental energy is the intention and the outcome. So you have to get clear on what you truly want. The physical energy is the thing that you're going to add into your space. And the spiritual energy is, does this align with the call of my soul and my purpose, right? So does it allow me to be who I truly want to be? Make sure that you're aligning all of these things as you're asking for abundance in your life. The other part of this is to take physical action. So you've taken physical action to shift the energy in your space, but now I want you to take action in your life too. So if you want to attract that abundance, what do you know you need to do? Start showing the universe in a big way that you want this, that you have a belief that this should be coming into your life. And how do you do that? By taking action. Feng Shui is a great tool to do that. It's effective. It's worked for thousands of years, which is why I love it. And it allows us to get clear on what we want. But also, what do you need to do in your career to make it happen? Who do you need to align yourself with? Start looking for ways that you can make that abundance happen faster. The how will show up once you are very clear on what it is you truly want, and if it aligns with who you want to be and what I call your soul set, which is your purpose and your life strategy. Okay? So you are lining up the energy in your home to line up with what you want to attract with regards to abundance, specifically today, into your life. These Feng Shui cures create the foundation for the energy of abundance to enter into your space and your life. Okay, so I'm going to get off of the screen share, and if you have any questions, you can ask them now in the chat box. I'm here to answer them. Or you can always email me, jill@jillethier.com, if you have a question, if you have a story, if you want to tell me what happened when you started moving the energy in your space, do that for sure. Go to jill@jillethier.com and get on the email list. There's emails that come out about strategy and energy on a weekly basis. Join me in Life Makers on Facebook. All sorts of ways to start really shifting the energy in your life in a strategic way. That's what I'm here to teach, and that's what I'm all about. And Feng Shui is a tool that I love to be able to really take control, take action in the physical energy in your space so that you can create the shift that you want in your life. So let's stop sharing, and I'm going to come back on the screen. Do I have any questions right now with regards to attracting abundance in your life and any of the Feng Shui cures? I'll just give you a minute in the chat box if there's anything you want to know. Okay. The thing about Feng Shui is to keep it simple, to realize that decluttering is key, to realize that keeping a flow of energy is key in this space, and to add the colors, to add the elements, and to add the things that mean whatever you're working on, whatever your area you're working on means something to you. So in this case, what feels abundant to you? What can you add in that means abundance for you in your life? So the front entrance attracts the energy into the space. The stove represents wealth, the dining room represents wealth, and then the back left corner of your home is the abundance area, and that's where you really want to focus on. If you have any questions, find me on Facebook, ask me in my feed, ask me in Life Makers, email me. I'm always here. I love talking about Feng Shui. The next webinar is all about creating a sanctuary in your master bedroom to create more love in your life, to strengthen your relationship. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to the next training and teaching that we get to do.